My husband, 60M, lied to my face about having a dating account even after I had all the information that proved it was factual, but he won't admit it. My husband and I have had playful discussions in the past about A+1 in our relationship for some bedroom fun. We've toyed around with this idea for some time now, and recently I said I can create an account as a couple on a dating website. I never was able to find someone to join us because I didn't want to pay for the membership, which was probably about $300 for 6 months or a year. I don't remember exactly. I didn't want to throw a few $100 out if we weren't going to be serious about it. A few days ago, I briefly saw on his phone that he was on the same website I signed up for, which I thought was weird because I never gave him the login info. I decided to look through his phone to see if he had made his own account without letting me know. I then found out that he indeed did, and he also paid for a membership of 30 days on a credit card I wasn't aware of. I gained access of this account he made without him knowing and read all his messages, about 10 or less. In his messages I found that he was trying to continue the journey of finding us A+1 with messages saying open to joining a couple. None of the messages indicated that he was trying to look for a side fling or an affair for himself. I wasn't mad, angry, or upset. I kept quiet for a few days to try to digest the information I found. I just didn't understand why he had to hide it behind my back and even used a credit card I didn't know about as if he had no intent on telling me about it. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Finally, after a few days of thinking about it, I casually brought up to him if he had a credit card I didn't know about. He denied. I then continued to ask what credit card he used to pay for the dating website membership. He said he had no idea what I was talking about and kept denying everything. I told him I already knew and already looked through all his messages and knew it was all him. He still kept denying even after I had all these evidence. I even had him sign into his email and find the email receipt of the payment. He still claimed it wasn't him. Now I'm stuck. I'm not upset about him signing up on the site. If he would have just admitted he didn't for the reason we could have A+1, I wouldn't have been upset because I didn't want to pay for it in the first place. I'm upset and disgusted at my husband for lying to my face about what I had already found out. And he still continues to lie about it to a point where I don't even want to speak to him. I did not know I was marrying a liar. We have been together for a total of 5 years and just got married early this year. I have never found him to be a liar in the past, but I am now totally turned off about how he keeps lying even after all the evidence I have gathered. I don't know why he keeps lying. He knows I find out everything and that's not a secret. I don't know what to do. We haven't spoken since this last conversation. Too long didn't read. My husband was caught in a lie and still will not admit it. He knows I am literally the CIA, not literally, but still lies to me as if the information I had is not factual, which it is. Edit, I am in my mid-20s. We have only been married for a little over 3 months and have never been in this kind of situation in the 5 years that we've been together. We still have not spoken, and if we don't hash things out by this weekend I am leaving him to be by himself for Thanksgiving. Oof, these kind of people will do anything to make you think you're crazy when you have evidence right in front you. Don't wonder even once if you're mistaken or crazy. Talking from experience. You deserve to be treated much better, not being gaslighted or lied to. The least thing he could do is be honest, unamused face. Either way, make boundaries. I'd if that'll be breaking up, but if he did it once, it's likely he'll do it again. These kind of people will do anything to make you think you're crazy when you have evidence right in front you. Gaslighting. Gaslighting and a terrible liar. Why are you stuck? You know the truth whether or not he admits it. Make your plans and decisions accordingly. If he won't admit it even with proof, why not demand he take a dementia test? Can you sign him up for one of those credit monitoring sites like Credit Karma? Find out what else he's hiding. Also sign yourself up to make sure he hasn't put anything in your name. If he's insisting he didn't open the card, make him call in and report the fraud charges and have the card closed. Make him file a police report over his stolen identity. See how far he's willing to take it. If he's insisting he didn't open the card, make him call in and report the fraud charges and have the card closed. Make Make him file a police report over his stolen identity. See how far he's willing to take it. That's actually a great idea. See what he says then. Should I, 26F, break up with my boyfriend, 26M, over COVID? Hi Reddit, I need your help. My boyfriend and I, 1.5 years together, fought a month ago about COVID. He's sharing joints with friends, and I said more than once that I didn't feel comfortable taking that risk. I live with my mother who is immunodeficient. After 2 attempts at conversation without change, I said I would no longer see him while the pandemic remained a problem. He was very depressed, but he didn't try to argue. Now, he and I are going to talk for the first time since this event, and honestly Reddit, I'm confused about how to proceed. In a month away from him, I noticed several other moments where he did not listen to me or considered my feelings. I was usually the person helping him, or comforting him, while my emotional needs were ignored. For example, even after I indicated that symbolic dates are important to me, he didn't give me any Valentine's Day or birthday cards, although he did give me a nice gift in the latter case. When I say I'm sad, he doesn't comfort me. Conversations we had were very one-sided. He usually spoke for hours in monologues and I needed to cut him off to give my opinion. When I was not in front of him, I felt invisible. He could go days without texting me. The first time we fought about sharing joints, we had both agreed on not sharing them. However, 1 week later I caught him doing it anyway. After I confronted him, instead of talking to me, he locked himself in his house and spent days considering his own feelings. Maybe he is not such an egocentric person and we only have different styles of showing affection, but I don't know if I want to go back to that same situation. Of course, I love him a lot, but I want to exercise my self-respect. It was a very positive feeling, that of respecting my own boundaries. My question is, does it make sense to break up with him? Do I try some more? What can I do? Thank you. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend doesn't respect my boundaries on COVID safety. We are away from each other for 1 month now. I realized that I didn't feel very prioritized in the relationship as a whole, uncertain if we should just break up for good. That's not breaking up over COVID. That's breaking up because he is self-absorbed and dishonest, and doesn't seem to recognize you as a separate and equal human being. The stress and issues regarding COVID just put the worst of his attitudes towards you on full display. You are much too young to throw your heart away on someone who's not going to respect you. Take it from someone who's older. I did that, threw my heart and soul into relationships where I got very little in return, finally hit my 30s and found true love. All I can say is it's amazing when you have someone that gives to you as much as you give to them. I wake up every day with a smile on my face and I wish that for you. You wouldn't be breaking up over COVID. You'd be breaking up over his complete lack of respect for you. Sounds like he doesn't really care for you the way you want to be cared for. You communicated that with him and he disregarded it. He doesn't care about your input in a conversation, ignores your agreement over drug usage, doesn't pay attention to holidays in the way you've made clear you want him to, and is fine ignoring you for days at a time. What exactly are you getting out of this relationship that you couldn't get from someone else, that makes you want to even consider sticking with someone as incompatible as this? COVID issue is separate, but as good a reason as any to pull the plug on a relationship that you clearly aren't happy with. Sounds very reasonable to break up. He doesn't respect your boundaries. He doesn't support you in the way you need, and you weren't together for a month and it seems to have hardly bothered you. Extended family, cutting out extended family because of COVID shaming. We had a baby early this year. Before COVID, we were worried that my family expected us to bring the newborn around for them right away. We have a large extended family of about 30 who are very close. They all actually planned on showing up to the hospital to wait for the baby. I had to tell them that wasn't happening. Anytime they talked about the new baby coming over and everyone getting to hold him, my wife would always say that we probably wouldn't be around until it warmed up because of cold and flu season. Spring, through May we didn't even let our own parents come and visit because because they had jobs where they were exposed often. We weren't 100% sure what the right protocols for COVID were, but we were listening to the experts and staying home. Summer, we started getting together with our immediate family and friends who had babies that had been social distancing like us. My extended family kept having showers, weddings, cookouts, church events, and every other kind of large gathering they shouldn't have been having. They decided to have a large 4th of July party right as my state was spiking again. We declined. Since then, anytime we share posts on social media about COVID or social distancing, my aunt has been making passive-aggressive comments to my wife on them. Every time a group text goes out about a get-together and we decline, my aunt sends a passive-aggressive comment back. My family thinks nothing of it when I bring it up, but outsiders who don't know we are related keep asking me and my wife who is that that keeps commenting on your posts. My wife finally reached out asking what the problem is and how we can resolve it. My aunt acted like she had no idea what my wife was talking about. Later I get a message from a different aunt who says she saw my wife's message. She starts accusing my wife of always wanting people to stay away and was just using COVID as the excuse. They say she has been setting rules since she was pregnant and it annoys all my aunts. They feel attacked that they were bad mothers or something. I'm sorry, parenting changes over 2 to 3 decades. You're not bad parents, but we can do better now. Pointing out that you can't feed a 6-month-old popcorn or that babies shouldn't have screen time before 2 years old isn't outrageous. She went on to start shaming us for not letting my mom watch my daughter alone, even though I have many reasons for this, and then she shamed me for making my mom quarantine after coming in contact with a family member who had just tested positive for COVID. I have a response typed up for my aunt, but I wanted to get outside input first. The gist of my response is, don't tell me how to take care of my family. At the end of the day, we don't know everything about the coronavirus. Limiting contact and quarantining when exposed is what the experts recommend, so that's what I follow. My only job is to keep my wife and kids safe. Everyone outside of that can either fall in line or get out of the way. Should I just brush it off with a spineless response for the sake of family, or should I finally put my foot down and call them out? I'm tired of it. TL/Doctor, my family is following CDC guidelines to protect ourselves. We have a newborn. My way too close extended family thinks we are using COVID as an excuse to not see them. It's all blowing up. I'm ready to cut them off, but just wanted to get my thoughts out there and others' opinions. I feel so much empathy for you and your family, your wife and newborn. You are doing everything you should, and your extended family strikes me as childish, and wanting to start drama and make things worse for people, on top of being ignorant about COVID. Maybe they were not always like this outwardly. The pandemic can change people and bring out the worst. I don't feel I'll have much useful advice. I'm sure others here do, but I wish you luck. Thank you. They are just not the smartest people. A lot of them prefer to just pray away the virus instead of doing the simple things like wearing a mask and avoiding large gatherings. We have always been close, but I'm just getting tired of it. They believe you should always just keep doing things the same way, and if it was good enough for my parents, it's good enough for me. They hate change, and I think this is just them getting frustrated by it. You could add that you and your wife set the rules together. Show that you have her back and present a united front as a family. Put your foot down, BC. This isn't going away anytime soon. Simple, I need to clear the air. This isn't personal, but my wife and I take the science and experts seriously and will be observing precautions for the duration. If you have a recent and clear COVID test, and or are likewise observant, we will see you. Otherwise, we will be doing what we must to protect ourselves and our child during this pandemic. Or something like that.